Anytime you go racing, there's a pretty good chance that you're gonna break something. Or at the very least, you're gonna find a weak link in one of your projects. And that's exactly what happened when we took the UglyTruck to Rocky Mountain Race Week just a few months ago. Think we lost the drive line. Now, I'm actually giving away the UglyTruck to a viewer. In fact, it could be you who ends up taking it home. But before I hand over the keys, I've got a couple of things that I need to take care of, some of those weak links that we discovered back on Rocky Mountain Race Week. So today, that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna make a few repairs underneath from some damage, which is mostly cosmetic, but it bugs me, so we're gonna fix it. We have a few safety upgrades that we're gonna do, which will help the truck pass tech and make it a little bit safer for when you decide to take it to the track. And then finally, we have a few, I think we got some wiring issues to take care of today, and then also a few more cosmetic upgrades on the interior, because this truck needs to be dialed before you take it home. We're gonna get started with these two guys right here, not the flashlight. Heat shield and this little U-shaped piece of metal. The heat shield, that belongs to the fuel tank. And if you remember on race week down in Texas, I believe Texas Motorplex, we were on our way to a nice fast pass, and then all of a sudden, not the U-joint, but the rear differential yoke actually had a failure, just kind of blew apart. This is an upgraded Yukon yoke. We did put a different driveline in, but some of the collateral damage is the heat shield up there that protects the fuel tank from the heat of the exhaust. Now, functionally, that little bit of damage, it doesn't really do anything. The tank is fine, it didn't puncture the tank at all, but we have to stare at this annoying heat shield. So we're gonna replace that. To do so, we're gonna remove the fuel tank, but that's actually a two birds situation, because we're also gonna be installing this rear driveline safety loop to that cross member right there. But it'll just make our lives a lot easier if we pull the fuel tank out. So, as always, I am gonna start by removing the bed, because that'll make our lives even easier. So 2 steps forward, wait, no, 2 steps back, 1 step. I don't know how the saying goes, but we're doing that. We're getting to work. That's dirt in my eyeballs. Now, you gotta make me a promise. If you win this truck, and if you live in like the Northeast or somewhere where it rusts stuff a lot, you can't drive it in the winter. Please. This truck is super, super clean underneath. Is it clear of that filler net, Chris? Yeah. We must interrupt your regularly scheduled YouTube programming to bring you this extremely important announcement. We are giving away the UglyTruck. You probably know that by now, but what you may not know is we are actually offering a Labor Day sale. That's right, between now and Monday the 1st of September at midnight, we are offering 2 times the entries for anything that you purchase at TolmanPerformance.com. Typically every $5 gets you 1 entry. Today and Monday the 21st, every $5 equals 2 entries. So don't forget to get entered. Remember, this is a 1,000 horsepower turbo big block sleeper Silverado, and it can be yours for the mere price of a t-shirt. So head on over to TolmanPerformance.com. Get entered to win, read the official rules, grab some merch, and now back to your regularly scheduled programming, or whatever they used to say on the news like forever ago. So in the grand scheme of things, this is kind of one of those things that really only matters to me. Functionally, the old heat shield would have done the same job as this one, but it makes me so much happier having a nice, crisp, freshly stamped heat shield instead of this old beat up thing that had the drive shaft whipping up against it. Now, speaking of the drive shaft whipping around, we are going to prevent that in two different ways. Number one, we're going to get a safety loop built and installed. We already put one up here. I mentioned that in the last video. We didn't have a failure up here, but this is exactly where the failure occurred. So one safety loop is going to go on this cross member. It's going to land within 6 inches of the U-joint per NHRA safety specs. I do have another one that I'm going to put up here, but I'm not going to do that yet because part 2 of this upgrade is a different drive line. I'm getting a custom 3-inch chromoly drive shaft built with 1350 joints. And in case that middle U-joint is in a slightly different place, I don't want to put the safety loop in the wrong spot. So we'll get the drive shaft in first. That's probably a couple days, maybe a week out, but at least now we can get the rear safety loop installed and then move on to the next thing. So this isn't quite long enough, so I have this piece of tube that is just a little bit larger. I'm going to slide it inside, TIG weld that together, get these cut to the right length, and then weld that to the truck. And of course, you gotta line up the welded seams. Not quite perfect. There we go. Line it up. Three and a quarter. Imagine how confusing it would be to work in a shop and have to use things like millimeters and centimeters. I much prefer halves and quarters and eighths and sixteenths. Makes so much more sense. And so you can probably tell these guys are different lengths because the cross member kind of comes down at an angle. So just wrapping up the edit, and I need to let you guys know that we have a few new items on the website. We still have all the merch that's ready to go. You guys seem to be liking that pretty good, but a few of you have mentioned you'd like some other non-clothing related items. So under the, I forget what I called it on the website, but there's a new page up there. We have a couple of like coffee mugs with the Tolman Performance logo printed on them. We have a drink koozie. And then now my new favorite, I'm going to do this for every truck that I build from here on out, but check it out. So backstory, when I used to work at Truck Tech, they would print these posters off for everything that they would build. Now I've only got a few here. Most of them are still hanging in the studio. But this gave me a really cool idea, and I decided I wanted to print these up for every truck that I have built on my own. And boom, I just got this in this morning. We now have an UglyTruck poster. These are up on the website, live now, available to purchase. 24 by 36 inches, has that same kind of magazine insert slash movie poster look going on to it. I really like it. It's glossy. It's on that thick photo paper, whatever you want to call it. They're up on the website, and anything that you purchase will get you entered to win the UglyTruck. So again, how fitting would it be? Buy a poster of the UglyTruck, and you might actually win the truck to go along with it. Now, if we can get the drive shaft out, we will be in business. Of course we can get it out. You go a little quicker than that. Okay, stop. So we got the back end of the truck more or less put back together. Got the safety loop installed. That's definitely going to be great if for any reason the drive shaft fails again, which, like I said, I am getting a much stronger shaft built right now. So theoretically the shaft should not fail again, but in the event that it does, we now have the necessary precautions, and it's, I think, over like 1150 ET, I think you're required to have one anyhow. So, or it's if you have slicks, or there's some rule that makes you actually technically required to have a safety loop. So we now are within the rules. The fuel tank's back in, looking like nothing ever happened with our nice, fresh new heat shield. I'm just gonna wait to put the exhaust back on until we get the drive line in, because whenever I do add that middle safety loop, it'll just make life a little bit simpler. But now we're gonna go to something completely different and finish up some upgrades on the inside of the truck. If you remember from the last episode, this truck has a really awful steering wheel in it. So thanks to eBay and probably a state with some northern climates, we have a much nicer condition. They call it leather wrapped. I don't think it's real leather, but a much nicer condition steering wheel, which we're gonna swap out. Onward. They make it look so easy when you watch it on YouTube.
I had the one for the 400, you know, for the Borg Warners, but they're 5-inch, and this thing's 5.5-inch.
I ended up getting one. I think it was an S&B, and I found it on a diesel website. I can try to find a part number if you want, because it's pretty compact. And then I grabbed the 5.5-inch turbo guard too. I have one of those.
Oh, okay. You know, mess with that some, but that's not a big deal. It's just a heat shield, so can bend it around and try to make something just protective enough so, you know, if it rains, it doesn't spray the water right into the turbo filter.
Exactly.
So it should be like a ram air effect as well. So as long as I can kind of manipulate that piece, I think I'm all right.
Well, that's exciting. I hope it makes it a lot quicker for you.
Yeah, me
Normally, I go to junkyard 2 times a month, something anyway. So
Isn't that so much better though?
much better than this. Absolutely better.
I like it. Well, we're moving right along. We have the interior pretty much done, or to what I'm going to call done. That new steering wheel is like the icing on the cake. We've got 2 driveline loops in. We have the order placed for the 1350 drive shaft. That'll be here probably a couple of days from now. And really, there's one major thing that I want to finish up today, and that is fixing a stupid mistake that I made probably 3 years ago, but I didn't realize how much of a mistake it was until this summer, or this early summer, Rocky Mountain Race Week, going from, I believe it was Noble, Oklahoma to Ennis, Texas. We were driving through a monsoon, ridiculous amounts of rain, and for some reason, all those years ago, I thought it would be a great idea to mount the fuel pump relays right there. So, you know, tire, splashing water in this general direction. LT said, let's put the fuel pump relays right there. Now, in my defense, at the time, I didn't really think I was going to be driving through any sort of inclement weather, which is not very good foresight, but also an excuse. I just put the relay harness on how it came, and that was all the cord or the wire that I had. So I just found the closest available spot and screwed it in. But that, come back guys, that was not a amazing idea. And it was kind of funny because the relay held on all the way through the monsoon until I got to the hotel, shut the truck off and went to restart it in the parking lot. That's when I noticed a problem. And this little guy right here, it wasn't smoke, but it was steam. Because it was mounted upside down, it had filled with water, even though it was a waterproof relay, and it got so hot from, I guess, the resistance of the water or something, but it was just steaming. So we replaced it, we finished up race week, and the same relay is in the truck right now, but it's not a great place. So we are going to cut the 2 fuel pump harness out of the truck. I'm going to rearrange it so the relays will now sit up underneath the hood in a protected environment rather than the stupidest spot in the world right in front of a tire. Step 1, make a fancy bracket to hold the relays, because plain is boring and we don't do sheet metal screws. I do want to say though, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Don't forget, this weekend, so today's Sunday, the day the upload goes live, and tomorrow, Monday, which is the 1st of September? Yes, September 1st. 2 times entries to win the UglyTruck are live on the website, tolmanperformance.com. Typically, every $5 is 1 entry. Right now, today and tomorrow, every $5 spent equals 2 entries. And we have a few new things on the website. I think I talked about that earlier in this video. But yeah, get entered guys, because right now your chances of winning are really, really good. And by the end of September of this year, like 3-ish weeks from now, I'm gonna be calling you to let you know that you have won this 1,000 horsepower turbo big block sleeper Silverado, known as the UglyTruck. And don't worry, we'll have the bed back on by the time we're done.